My mother-in-law and husband were overjoyed to learn that I had given birth to a son, and they cried tears of happiness outside the delivery room. My husband takes great care of me, having booked the best postpartum center, and he makes time to be with me every day. During the son's full moon celebration, a woman came and gave a red envelope with an amount that shocked me. I accidentally overheard their conversation while going to the bathroom. "Hanson, I'm not wearing anything inside." Then came a series of sticky, ambiguous sounds. So slippery, daring to appear here, I'll punish you by making you wait in the car obediently for me. The woman chuckled lightly. Your wife has finished her confinement, will there still be grain delivered to me in the future? Hanson snorted coldly. Now that the son is born, there's no need to care about her feelings anymore. After going out, he found me with an anxious expression. Honey, there's an urgent matter at the company. I need to go for a bit. You keep mom company here. I quickened my pace to catch up, but my mother-in-law stopped me with a firm hand. There are so many guests here, where have you been? Hurry up and greet them. I could only watch their receding figures helplessly, my heart feeling as if it were being gnawed by 1,000 ants. I really wanted to see what they were up to. When Hanson was pursuing me, he loved me to the point of desperation, even cutting his wrist for me. I can't believe that just a year into our marriage, he has betrayed me. After he left, I had no desire to entertain the guests and quickly ended the full moon banquet. When I returned home in the evening, I placed my son in my mother-in-law's room. Mom, could you please help me watch over things tonight? I need to talk to Hanson about something. The mother-in-law chuckled knowingly. Isn't it just that little matter between men and women? What's there to hide? It's only been a short while since you last shared a bed, and you can't stand it? My son works very hard during the day, you'd better let him rest well. I felt a sudden jolt in my heart, realizing that my mother-in-law had also changed. Before having the baby, she was very nice to me, and my mother-in-law treated me like her own daughter. When Hanson made me angry, she would even scold him in front of me. How is it that just after giving birth, her attitude has changed so much? I didn't think too deeply about it. I went straight back to my room to take a shower, carefully dressed myself up, and put on the lace camisole nightgown I had just bought. I sat on the bed like that, waiting for him to come back. It was not until midnight that he returned from outside, entering the room quietly. I was startled to see you sitting on the bed. You're not asleep yet? I got up and went to help him hang up his coat. But I caught a whiff of that pungent perfume, along with the faint scent of both a man and a woman, and I almost lost my smile. I keep telling myself that as long as I don't see it, everything is fake. Hanson loves me, it's very likely just a misunderstanding. He quickly finished his shower, lay down on the bed, and fell asleep. I bent down and hugged him. Honey, we haven't been intimate for a long time. Have you missed me? Hanson's body stiffened for a moment. Then he immediately relaxed, holding me gently and kissing my forehead. How can I not think about it? I think about it every day, but today I'm really a bit tired, and the doctor also said it's best for you to rest for a while longer. Come on, get up here, my dear, let hubby hold you to sleep. Once you're better, I'll take good care of you. My tears suddenly fell. He asked me somewhat puzzled, why aren't you happy? I'm doing this for your own good, we don't lack these few days, let's take some time to rest. I cried as I held him. Hanson, do you still love me? Of course, I love you the most, I will love you for a lifetime, forever and ever. I suddenly changed the subject and asked directly, can you tell me who that woman was during the day? I didn't expect Hanson to explain to me while casually stroking my hair. She is my boss Wendy. Recently, I've been working a lot of overtime to help her, which has earned her a lot of money. It's only normal for her to give us a big red envelope. When I was about to press further with my questions, he let out a big yawn and closed his eyes to sleep. But I was wide awake all night. The next morning, before dawn, my mother-in-law pulled me out of bed. Hurry up and make breakfast, I'm hungry. I resisted the urge to sleep and went to the kitchen silently. She stood beside me, watching all my movements. While I kept chattering away, being picky and choosy. I hadn't slept all night, and a surge of inexplicable anger rushed to my head. I couldn't help but retort, "If you think I can't do it, then you come and try. How can you speak like that? Is this how you talk to your elders? It's truly uncouth, far worse than Miss Wendy." I suddenly turned to look at her, and she realized she had let something slip, quickly covering her mouth and returning to the room. My heart feels like it's plunged into an ice cave. How could she know whether that Wendy is good or not? Could it be that they have met before? After breakfast was ready, Hanson leisurely came out of the room. As soon as I sat down at the dining table, my mother-in-law scooped the meat and fried egg in front of me into Hanson's bowl. "My son works hard every day to earn money to support you. Since you aren't earning a penny now, you should eat less and let my son have more." My face suddenly darkened, and Hanson smiled as he returned the food from his bowl to me. "Mom, it's Olivia who is at home taking care of the kids, and that's the hardest and most physically demanding job. You don't have much to do every day, so why not give yours to me?" The grandmother angrily slammed the chopsticks down on the table. "Why are you still turning your elbow outwards?" Without letting her finish, Hanson shot her a stern look, and she instantly fell silent. "Mom, we are all family, why make a distinction? Just eat up." Seeing the way this mother and son harmonized with each other, I couldn't help but feel a wave of sadness in my heart. Once, I was Hanson's client, and my salary was more than double his. To have his child, I resolutely quit my job. At that time, I felt that my husband and mother-in-law treated me very well, and I was willing to give everything for them. In the end, what I gained was merely being an outsider in this family. It's truly laughable to the extreme. After finishing dinner, Hanson went out to work, and his mother-in-law also went out to dance in the square. I searched the entire house. Sure enough, I was right, Wendy had been here. I found a lipstick in the small drawer of the vanity. This brand is very expensive, I've never been able to bring myself to buy it. I sat silently in front of the vanity, tears streaming down my face. I couldn't help but glance at the bed where Hanson and I used to sleep. Did they do it on this bed? Hanson must have found it thrilling, laughing happily. I can no longer deceive myself by thinking that everything is false if I haven't seen it with my own eyes. This time, I chose to take the initiative. I called the front desk of Hanson Company and asked her to let Wendy know that someone named Olivia was looking for her to return something. I had arranged to meet at a cafe, but to my surprise, she arrived before me. I calmly sat down and handed her the lipstick. "Wendy, you left your things at our house." She smiled, glanced at it, and handed it back to me. "I know you can't afford it, I've only used this once, so it's a gift for you." I wasn't insulted by her words, I got straight to the point. Wendy is also a smart person, so I'll just say it directly. "What is your relationship with Hanson?" She suddenly laughed and then told me in a provocative tone, "We have a relationship where we see each other bare." "What, are you jealous?" I suppressed my anger and continued to ask, "When did you start?" "I think it started when you were pregnant." "Why do you have to fuss about it?" "I haven't destroyed your family. He's a vigorous man, and I've helped you solve his physical problems. You should be grateful to me." I couldn't hold it in any longer and splashed a cup of coffee all over her face. "You shameless little mistress, seducing my husband and expecting me to thank you. Am I the one who's sick or are you the one who's sick?" She was also quite angry with my actions, standing up and pointing her finger at my nose, shouting, "Don't take yourself too seriously. If it weren't for my anti-marriage stance, he would have dumped you and married me long ago. You are just a breeding tool for their family. Once the son is born, your task is complete. Do you think he will still care about you? Reproductive tools, completing tasks." Recently, his attitude towards me has perfectly aligned with these two words from my mother-in-law. I walked home in tears all the way. No matter how you put it, my family is a scholarly one, and our conditions are much better than the Hansons. Marrying Hanson is a step down for me. They may not treat me well, but they cannot play with me. I really regret that when my parents advised me not to marry Hanson, I told them that Hansen and my mother-in-law treated me better than my own family. Now, what face do I have left to face my parents? In the evening, my mother-in-law returned home with Hansen. As soon as she entered, her mother-in-law went to look at the dining table and sarcastically remarked, "Oh dear, whose daughter-in-law doesn't even cook dinner? She really thinks she's the mistress, waiting for the servants to attend to her." Hansen ran up to me barefoot and gave me a scathing tirade. "Who told you to go find Wendy? You even splashed coffee all over her face. Do you know she's my boss? Are you trying to ruin my future? From dating to marriage to you having children, ask yourself honestly, have I not treated you well? In order for you to have a good pregnancy, my mom, like a nanny, washes your clothes and cooks for you every day. Isn't that enough?" I scoffed, "Your mother cooks every day, but she only makes the fatty meat you love. During my pregnancy, I couldn't stand greasy food, I only ate the vegetables I cooked for myself. Your mom washes all your clothes. She just crumples mine into a ball and tosses them into the washing machine. Not only do they all bleed colors, but the dirt is still left on them, and every time I have to wash them again myself. I've never complained to you, because I feel that we are a family, and I should be more understanding of you both. In your eyes, I am nothing but an absolute outsider. Even when you cheated, your mother helped you hide it from me." Hansen's eyes widened, looking as if he wanted to devour me. It was terrifying. "What evidence do you have to prove that I cheated? You spend all day doubting this and that. Have you got postpartum depression? If you're sick, go see a doctor. You can't just make things up like this." At this moment, my mother-in-law chimed in, "Don't say my son hasn't cheated, even if he did, so what? Doesn't my son have needs? He can't touch you, so why can't he find someone else to take care of it? As a wife, you should understand." I couldn't help but laugh out loud at what these two said. "I understand? Then why, when you were pregnant with Hansen, did you scratch your father-in-law's face to pieces when he cheated? The two of you really scare me with your views on life." In the next moment, Hansen slapped me across the face. I covered my face as tears fell from the corners of my eyes. My parents had never been willing to hit me even once since I was little, yet today it was the person I loved the most who laid a hand on me. Hansen and Wendy both admitted it, "Yet you still quibble, that's really cowardly." The mother-in-law took over the conversation, "Nonsense. You must have someone outside and want to divorce my son, leaving him with nothing, scheming for our family's wealth. That's why you're making up such ridiculous stories." I was so angry that I smashed all the plates and bowls. Hansen dragged me into the house and locked the door. "You should reflect on yourself." I sat on the ground in despair, crying loudly. Before long, I received a phone call. The ambiguous moans of Hansen and Wendy clearly came from inside. "Aren't you afraid that your wife will really divorce you? Don't mention her, I feel sick just seeing her. Right now, I only want you, baby, move for me, that's great, I love you." After I saved the recording, I unexpectedly received a message. The above is a photo of a simple woman and a little girl who is about 3 years old. It said, "The child's father is Hansen, and because she was a daughter, he abandoned both of us right after she was born." In his and his mother's eyes, a woman is just a tool for giving birth to sons. Do you want to join forces with me? A chill ran through my heart as I suddenly remembered that time when we were in love and I was pregnant with a child. He spent money to have someone check the gender, and then I had a miscarriage. The child was a girl. Until the next morning, when my son cried from hunger, my mother-in-law finally opened the door for me to feed him. At the same time, she was also making sarcastic remarks. "As a wife, you need to understand your husband and not have so many thoughts. My son is currently providing you with good food and drink, so just be content. You, a woman who has given birth, if my son doesn't want you, who else would want you? Finish nursing and quickly make me breakfast." I am now filled with thoughts of that strange woman's words, too lazy to argue with her. I quickly made her breakfast and sent her out, so I could start my own actions. After she left, I called that woman and arranged to meet, only to find out that she lived in the neighborhood next to mine. I held the child and went straight over. Standing in her house, I felt a wave of heartache. Although the two neighborhoods are only separated by a road, they are worlds apart. The place where she lives is a famously old house, and the bed inside creaks loudly at the slightest touch. After pouring me a cup of hot water, she began to tell her story. My name is Violet, and I am from the same village as Hansen. Hansen's home is in the countryside, and Violet lives next door, 2 years older than Hansen. Since childhood, Hansen has liked her, but Violet feels that Hansen is not mature enough and has always regarded him as just a younger brother. Until Hansen got into college and moved to the city, Violet thought he would no longer cling to her. Unexpectedly, after graduating from his senior year, he returned to the village, got drunk while partying with childhood friends, and directly raped her. Not long after, Violet discovered that she was pregnant. At that time, she was getting along well with a man she was set up with, and they had even reached the point of discussing marriage. But after this incident, she felt too embarrassed to see that man again. Violet wanted to confront Hansen for an explanation, but Hansen kept refusing to communicate with her. In the end, feeling helpless, she considered having an abortion, but was stopped by my mother-in-law. The grandmother deceived her. Don't worry, as long as you give birth to the child, I will definitely make my son marry you, he listens to everything I say. Violet believed it to be true until the child was born, and she, holding on to all her hopes, wanted to go with Hansen to get the marriage certificate. But he blocked her at the door. The old lady splashed a basin of cold water on her. You had the audacity to come into my house after giving birth to a worthless child. Violet cried and pleaded with her, no matter what, this is also the bloodline of the Chin family. The child is already born, you cannot deny it. How can I live alone with the child? If you really want a boy, I can have one after we get married. Hansen laughed mockingly, you, a rural woman, even if you give birth to a boy, I could never marry you. I'm going to live in the big city, marrying someone like you would be too embarrassing. Later, when Violet went to find them again, they had already moved to the city, and since then, there had been no news of them. After they left, I was poked in the spine every day in the village, scolded for my lack of propriety. The villagers wouldn't let their children play with my daughter, saying they found us dirty. A few days ago, my daughter was diagnosed with a serious illness that requires money for treatment. I had no other choice, so I came here to ask him for some money for her treatment. After inquiring here and there, I finally learned that he is already married. In fact, I quietly watched you three leave from a distance with my daughter, and it really hurt my heart. Last night when he was hitting you, I was outside the door, intending to go in, but unfortunately, I overheard the content of your argument, which is why I sent you a message. After listening to Violet's account, I scoffed, he's just a country bumpkin, insisting on having a boy, then I'll make sure he never has descendants. Olivia, although I can understand your feelings, I urgently need money to treat my daughter. I know him, if I go to him to ask for it, he definitely won't give it to me. I nodded in agreement, indeed, not to mention you, such a simple country person, even I, a city dweller, have been completely played by him. All his salary is in his mother's hands. Aside from the normal household expenses, anything I want to buy comes from my own savings. The wedding house we live in now was all paid for with the down payment from my parents. Since that's the case, I absolutely won't let him off easy. Violet, are you afraid of being embarrassed? Hearing my words, her originally lifeless eyes suddenly sparkled with hope. He shook his head repeatedly and said, I'm not afraid. As long as I can save my daughter, I will do anything, even if it costs me my life. I smiled at her and said, no, we need to take Hansen's life. In the evening, after Hansen finished work, his mother-in-law returned home after chatting with the neighbors, and the dining table was already filled with a feast waiting for them. Hansen's originally gloomy face softened a bit. This is my good wife, as long as you fulfill your responsibilities as a wife, I will still treat you well. I smiled and invited the two of them to sit down. Yes, I've come to understand that you really work hard to support this family. I can't keep causing you trouble. I'm also a part of this family, and I need to contribute something too. After hearing what I said, the corners of his mouth couldn't help but rise, and he naturally kissed my forehead. She pretended to touch my face gently. I'm sorry for yesterday, I shouldn't have hit you. I swear, it won't happen again. This meal was enjoyed harmoniously by our family. After finishing my meal, I spoke up and said, Honey, Mom, here's the thing, a boss I used to know wants me to work for her, and the salary is even higher than before. So I thought I should discuss with you whether I should go. The grandmother immediately lost her temper. You go to work, who will take care of the child? Let's find a nanny, that way there will be someone to do the housework and take care of the kids, and Mom, you will have more time to go out and stroll in the park with Uncle Wang and such. That Uncle Wang was someone she met while dancing in the square downstairs. Although he was a bit older, he looked quite spirited. I had long noticed that my mother-in-law was interested in that widowed old man. I didn't expect that at her age, she would actually blush and become shy after I said that. Don't talk nonsense. Your Uncle Wang is just being friendly, he's nice to everyone. Don't spread rumors, it would be bad if someone overheard. I couldn't help but laugh out loud and continued to compliment, Yes, but I noticed that Uncle Wang treats you differently from others. Last time you danced, I saw him buy you water and not buy it for the other old ladies. She was so overjoyed by what I said that she actually believed me. Really? I think Uncle Wang is indeed quite good. Seeing that she was hooked, I continued, So, if I make money, I can dress you up beautifully. Look at those city ladies dancing together, each one wearing designer brands, their faces all done up with cosmetic procedures, they look so good. This way, Uncle Wang will definitely like you even more. The grandmother immediately smiled widely, all right, you go to work. At this point, Hansen took over the conversation. Having a nanny is not impossible, but first, there are too many unreliable nannies out there, and second, the costs are too high. You know, the pressure of paying my mortgage every month is already quite a lot. I slapped my thigh and said, So. I really need to go to work now. This money will come from my salary, and I will share the household expenses with you in the future. Honey, I have just one request, can we live a good life together for the rest of our days? He immediately embraced me with a beaming smile, kissing me over and over again. I held back my nausea and dealt with it. The next morning, he happily walked out of his house to go to work. Little did he know, what awaited him was a farce. As soon as he walked into the company, he saw a group of people huddled together, and faint cries could be heard from within the crowd. He curiously walked over to take a look, and his heart suddenly skipped a beat. He saw that the person inside was actually Violet. She was sitting on the sofa, holding her daughter and crying, Hansen, as the child's father, has neglected us for so many years. Now the child is sick, and I ask for nothing else but for him to save our child. A few of the female colleagues with children were moved by Violet's pitiful appearance and chimed in, I didn't realize team leader Hansen was this kind of person. Don't worry, we'll help you talk about this, saving the child is the priority. But the next second, Hansen suddenly shouted loudly and stepped forward to fiercely grab Violet's arm. What are you doing here? How did you know I was here? Without saying a word, Violet knelt down and replied, Please, I need 200,000 for my daughter's illness. I really have no other way. Have mercy and save my daughter. At that moment, Wendy, who had just arrived at the company, walked over and raised an eyebrow at the scene before her. Hansen, you actually have an illegitimate child. How many women do you have? Seeing Wendy's pale face, Hansen instantly became anxious and shouted loudly at his colleagues who were whispering about him. Everyone, don't believe her, she's just a liar. She's my neighbor from my hometown, having an affair with someone else. The man dumped her, and she thinks I'm a good-hearted person, so she came over to try to swindle my money. The child isn't even mine, so please, don't believe her. The murmurs of the crowd immediately ceased. Wendy snorted coldly, Stop crowding around. Don't you all have work to do? Hurry up and call security to throw this person out. Our big company can't afford to lose anyone like this. After saying that, she twisted her waist and entered her office, and Hansen followed her in. Violet called me immediately after being kicked out by the security. "Olivia, everything is just as you expected. What should I do next? You bring the child to the hospital now." After saying that, I directly handed Hansen's hair to the doctor. After returning home in the afternoon, I saw my mother-in-law sitting on the sofa with a gloomy expression, sulking. I pretended to care and stepped forward to ask, "Mom, what's wrong?" She huffed angrily and said, "I don't know which neighborhood that old lady came from today, dressed so flamboyantly, clearly a seductress, dragging your Uncle Wang to dance the whole time. I couldn't even get a word in." "Oh, I just saw someone downstairs, an old lady dressed in designer brands, with pretty fair skin and quite thin, right?" "Yes, it's that vixen." I sighed, "Mom, this really isn't Uncle Wang's fault. Just look at how fashionable and good-looking he is. Men are visual creatures, after all. Mom, I think if you dressed up, you could definitely charm Uncle Wang." Her eyes instantly ignited with hope. "Really? Of course, in that case, I'll take you to the mall tomorrow to buy a few outfits, and then I'll arrange a cosmetic procedure for you, maybe some minor beauty treatments. Don't worry, by then Uncle Wang will definitely be so enchanted by you that he won't know which way is up." Seeing her smiling brightly with a face full of anticipation, I couldn't help but sneer inwardly. That old lady is my best friend's second aunt, who was the belle of the dance team in her youth. Even if you covered your mother-in-law in gold from head to toe, it wouldn't compare to a single strand of her hair. Sure enough, the next day, as soon as Hansen left for work, she urged me to take her to the mall. After I handed the child over to the nanny I had just found, I smiled and accompanied her out the door. In the mall, I specifically took her to the particularly expensive stores, and as long as the price of the clothes was high, I would say she looked good in them, showering her with compliments. "Oh, this is too expensive. A shirt costs several thousand. I'm not buying it, not buying it." As she was about to walk out, I quickly grabbed her. "Mom, that's your happiness for the rest of your life. You can't bear to part with the child and can't catch the wolf. But my son will definitely blame me for spending money recklessly." "It's okay, Mom. The savings book is with you, and he doesn't know about it. At worst, when I get my salary, I'll make it up to you." "How would he ever find out?" She thought for a moment, found it feasible, and immediately paid without hesitation. Then I took her to the beauty salon. A very beautiful beautician patiently explained the beauty treatments to us. "Auntie, your skin is so good. As long as you follow our complete skincare routine, it will definitely make you look 20 years younger. Next time you come, I won't even feel right calling you auntie, I'll have to call you sister instead." This set of words made my mother-in-law feel incredibly moved. But when she asked about the price, she hesitated. I quickly advised, "Mom, this is already very cheap. The discounts are substantial right now. After the discount, it's only 200,000. Normally, you wouldn't get it for less than 300,000. My new job's year-end bonus can be over 200,000, so don't worry, I will definitely make it up to you then." Hearing my assurance, she no longer hesitated and paid the money directly. After sending her to the beauty room, I went to the office of the owner of this beauty salon. As soon as I walked in, a beautiful woman gave me a big hug. I smiled and hugged her back. "I have to say, your top salesperson really knows how to talk people into things. That was something I spent a fortune to dig up, how could it be lacking? By the way, I've already transferred the 200,000 that the old lady just paid to the account you mentioned." "Thank you, dear. By the way, the skincare products you use for the old lady shouldn't be too cheap, they should be at least $10 or more." "Don't worry." After receiving the money, Violet quickly called me, expressing her heartfelt gratitude and saying she wanted to thank me in person. "Don't worry, there will be a day for our celebration." We quietly spent some days like this. During this time, Wendy would also text me to provoke me, telling me how exciting it was with Hansen in bed. Women, you see, have a strong desire to share, they often like to build their happiness on the suffering of others. I didn't reply to her, instead, I hoped she would share even more. I want a divorce, and for Hansen to give up everything and leave, I need more evidence. During this time, Hansen was very happy. The red flag at home remained upright, and colorful flags fluttered outside, allowing him to completely let go of himself. Little did he know, a greater farce was waiting for him. On this day, just as he sat down at his workstation, a group of people suddenly burst in. A group of internet celebrities holding recording devices supported Violet as she walked in. Violet held a report in her hand and shouted to everyone, "Please look at this. This is the paternity test between Hansen and my daughter. He is the father of my child. Everything he told you that day was a lie. He raped me, and when he saw I had a girl, he abandoned me and has never cared for the child. I hope everyone can help me out and judge whether he should care about the child's life or death." Everyone immediately crowded around to look at the report in her hand, and then their gazes towards Hansen turned filled with disgust. Hansen panicked and quickly tried to block the cameras of the influencers. "Stop filming. Who gave you permission to shoot?" The more he tried to stop them, the more enthusiastic those influencers became in filming. In the end, it was Wendy who came over to directly intervene, having security pull Violet out and taking several major influencers into the office. She had an imposing demeanor and got straight to the point. "Speak up, what conditions do you have to delete the video?" After several rounds of bargaining, the final price was set at $300,000 to be paid in full within 3 days. After they left, Wendy, looking frustrated, began to scold Hansen. "How much trouble do you want to cause me? The boss is coming back to the country in a couple of days. If you don't want to work, don't drag me down with you." Hansen immediately lowered his head and admitted his mistake. "Don't worry, I'll make it right. I was wrong, baby. Will you forgive me? I'll make it up to you tonight." Hansen went straight home after work and immediately asked his mother-in-law for money upon entering. But his mother-in-law hesitated and stammered. In a moment of desperation, Hansen went to get the passbook himself. When he opened it, he was instantly dumbfounded. "Mom, where's the money? Didn't we have 300,000 in savings? How come there's only 50,000 left?" The grandmother, unable to hide the truth any longer, recounted the facts directly. "I stood at the door, smiling as I saw Hansen raise his hand and slap the grandmother across the face. You must be sick. Don't you even look at what kind of person you are? No amount of money can cover up the rustic air about you." He turned to look at me again, immediately changing to a flattering expression. "Honey, I'm really in trouble. Can you keep giving me money? Don't you have savings? Can you lend me some first, please?" I took out my phone and showed him my bank account balance, which was less than 1,000 yuan. "Honey, I've spent all my money on insurance for you and Mom. I really have nothing left. It's really funny that you thought of me at this time. All the money in my account has long been transferred to my mother's name." He saw that none of us could pull out any hair, and his expression immediately turned unpleasant. I turned to leave, but I quickly grabbed him. "Honey, where are you going?" He said irritably, "What else can I do? I have to find a way." I immediately brought a glass of water and held it to his lips. "Honey, don't worry, take a sip of water before you go out, we can definitely solve this." He instinctively grabbed the cup and drank it all in one go. After leaving, I went straight back to my room. I picked up the phone and dialed a number. "Call the police in an hour." "Isn't it going to take too long? What if he finishes with Wendy by then?" "Don't worry, he won't. I put a whole little blue pill in the water he just drank, he won't be able to stop all night." Then I made up a lie with my mother-in-law and went out too. An hour later, several police officers burst into the hotel room, guns drawn. Hansen and Wendy were in the midst of an intense struggle on the bed, completely unaware of their surroundings as the officers entered, still entangled with each other. "Put your clothes on," the police shouted. They hurriedly began to get dressed, but Hansen couldn't pull up his pants no matter what, as that part was constantly pressing down and wouldn't budge. All of this was captured by the body camera. "Someone reported that you were gathering here to use drugs." Hansen, with a face full of surprise, quickly denied, "How is that possible? It can't be." The police ignored that and directly began a thorough search of the house. After discovering a bag of white powder in his briefcase, they took the two of them back to the police station. I quietly followed behind. After a night of turmoil, the matter was finally clarified. The bag contained baby formula. He called me immediately after leaving the police station, questioning, "Did you put a bag of baby formula in my bag?" I feigned an innocent tone, "Huh? I didn't. The formula is in your bag?" "I was just saying that I counted and there seems to be one less bag today. It must be that you accidentally took something in. What's wrong?" The only sound on the other end of the phone was the heavy breathing, and nothing more was said. The next day, I found a lawyer and went to the police station to go through a series of processes and procedures to obtain the footage from the body camera. Now, the evidence for suing him for infidelity during the marriage is complete. Only the final step remains. The 3-day deadline with the influencers had arrived, and Hansen couldn't come up with the money. Just as he was thinking about calling them to buy some time, the company boss suddenly showed up at the office. "Wendy, Hansen, take your team to the conference room for a meeting. I just landed a big client. If we secure this project, it will cover our company's performance for the entire year." As he spoke, he urged the two to hurry. As soon as they entered the conference room, Hansen's eyes widened in surprise. "Because the client of the project is my company, and I am the project manager for this project." I smiled and nodded at him. He smiled knowingly and whispered to his boss, "Don't worry, we'll definitely secure this project. The project manager is my wife." As soon as the boss heard this, he immediately broke into a smile. I then connected my computer to the projector and began to explain our needs to the partner. Just as I was getting into the conversation, a news alert suddenly popped up on my computer. I accidentally clicked on the news video. The video in the frame is from the day those internet celebrities filmed Violet coming to the company with the paternity test report, causing a scene. The entire conference room suddenly fell silent. I pretended to be flustered and wanted to close the web page, but accidentally clicked on another video on the desktop. Inside, Hansen and Wendy's naked bodies were completely exposed to everyone. I didn't hit pause, letting the video play over and over again, even turning the volume up to the maximum. The reckless moans immediately attracted the attention of all the colleagues outside the conference room. At that moment, a kind-hearted person opened the door to the conference room. My tears fell in response, my face full of misery and grievance. The expression on their boss's face was even worse. He stepped forward and directly unplugged the power. My boss was fuming, slamming his hand on the table. "I didn't expect your company to have such a culture. It seems we have no need to cooperate. I will also inform my fellow companies to avoid working with yours, to steer clear of any trouble." He said this while getting up and leaving with the people from our side. I followed him out as well. "My boss has shown me great kindness, she sympathizes with my situation," she said to the obsequious boss who had followed her out. "Olivia is my most prized assistant. I cannot tolerate her being subjected to such humiliation. If you want to have any future opportunities to collaborate with us, then blacklist those two in the entire industry. I believe you can do it." The boss immediately nodded in agreement. After sending them off, I called Wendy from the cafe downstairs. It wasn't long before she came down and sat across from me. "Olivia, you are ruthless." "It's mutual. I called you here hoping you could help me with something. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind posting this video online or handing it over to the boss of every company you go to in the future." She gasped angrily, "Speak." "I want to divorce Hansen and have him give up everything, the house, the car, everything including the children will belong to me. I believe you can make it happen." After saying that, I handed her a signed divorce agreement and then turned to leave. That evening, as soon as Hansen entered the house, he rushed towards me with his hand raised to hit me. However, he was kicked into the corner by two tall, strong men. He then realized that there were actually several more people in the room. "My parents are here, and those two men are my cousin and my younger cousin," they are both police officers. Hansen, if you dare to lay a hand on my sister, I'll break your arm. Hansen stood up, enduring the pain, his features now twisted. He took the divorce agreement out of his bag and threw it directly at me. Are you satisfied now? Olivia, I never expected you to be so cruel. I let out a cold laugh. You can't imagine how much more there is. All right, enough with the nonsense, take your useless mother and get out of my house. At that moment, Violet walked in with her daughter and angrily said, Hansen, I'm going to sue you for rape. Hansen was taken aback and quickly retorted, what evidence do you have to say that I raped you? Lee Area witnessed everything that happened that day from start to finish. At that time, she was playing with her newly bought phone, trying to record videos, and happened to capture the entire process. For so many years, she didn't dare to speak out, fearing that you would go back and seek revenge on her, but now she no longer has to be afraid. Just then, my cousin handcuffed him and took him away. After everything was over, I gave Violet $50,000. Without her help, things wouldn't have gone so smoothly. From then on, I devoted all my energy to my career. A woman's true strength lies in her ability to empower herself.